Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FPL Don't Panic, FA Cup round 3 over. So obviously there's been a few developments there in terms of injuries and things. I'm not going to talk too much about those. What I want to talk about is captaincy. I've had a relatively significant change of heart. I had my captaincy armband on Isaac. I have put a little bit of thought into this. And I have changed it, as you can see on screen. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We'll bring the team up first. It's been just yet a couple of little changes since the last time I spoke. I hadn't really intended to do another sort of full video, but more captaincy update, because I've just been keeping an eye on just listening to the various surveys of various other content providers, FPL Mate, etc., and where it looks like the captaincy armband is falling and what the sort of spread is, percentages across different players, and that's fairly interesting, and that's sort of helped guide a bit of a change of heart I've had on my own captaincy, as well as something else. So just very quickly on the team, not too much of a change. We've obviously got the Timber injury now, so I had him third on the bench anyways, and he's potentially on the way out in a couple of game weeks anyways, as I look to just make some little tweaks. So not too much damage there for me, although obviously that does affect the Arsenal defence a little bit, where I will still keep Gabriel, and hopefully he can get something against Spurs. I feel maybe more likely attacking return, as he got an attacking return against Man United this morning, or this morning as it was in New Zealand at 3 a.m, 4 a.m in the morning as I was watching the match. It was a good finish, bit of a deflection, but right place, right time, and he got a really good strike on the ball. Hopefully he could do something similar against Spurs for me. The only significant change to the last video in terms of personnel on the pitch is I put Watkins in there at the moment. We've had the change in manager for Everton, and I've also had an out of form, or certainly a blanking 5 game weeks in a row, I think it is now, Enzo, after scoring 5 game weeks in a row. A bit of a calculated risk. I do think Watkins will start before Duran, because Duran hasn't played obviously for 3 games now with the suspension. And Moyes' history with when he comes into a new club, he doesn't necessarily get off to the greatest of starts, and sometimes he's out the door as quick as he came in. Post Everton, his first stint at Everton, he came into United and he made a meal of it. He came in making too many changes too quickly to what had been a winning team, and as I say, didn't even last 6-7 months. Trying to think what was the order of things. He went to Real Sociedad, I think it might have been Real Sociedad. He was gone from there within 12 months. He relegated Sunderland, and he had his did a little stint at West Ham, and he was only there a few months. It was only supposed to be a short-term thing, and they did not renew his contract, or take him on full time. So obviously that didn't go well. And then in his longer stint at West Ham, when he went back a couple of years later, he did actually bring a bit of success to West Ham. Obviously got that European trophy, but he didn't get off to the greatest of starts there either. He's a long-term manager. He needs to be in the job for a wee while before he sort of starts to get any sort of results, and even then they're not guaranteed, are they? So I'm just taking a bit of a pump there that he's going to maybe unsettle things a little bit in that Everton defence. And I do think Watkins is going to start, and I'm weighing up his goal threat and his on penalties against Enzo, having blanked in the last 5. So I think that's where I'm going to go on that. Now that's not the bulk of what I want to talk about today. The other significant change I've made, and that's the one I do want to talk about, is taking the captain's armband off of Isaac. I had moved away from Salah. I think isn't a bad decision, and putting it onto Anthony Gordon. So I'll just talk a little bit about my thinking around that. So as best I can gather, understanding that these are from relatively small surveys that some of the other content providers do, but I think it gives an indication. It's looking like Isaac is probably ahead of Salah in terms of captaincy, running at just over 40%, with Salah running just under 40%. So not a whole lot in it. And Palmer taking up about maybe 14-15% of the captaincy armband, and the rest being spread across a number of players like Bruno, Haaland, and Mbumo, De Bruyne. So I've seen a few names mentioned where there might be like a 1 or a 2%, so it's a small amount of captain. So people obviously, a number of people obviously taking that punt to bet against Salah and some of the other major sort of captaincy bets, such as Isak and Palmer. Now here's why I am going with Gordon. So I'll actually bring up my spreadsheet to talk you through this one. Okay. So first, before going into the numbers side of things, let's talk about hamstrings. Now, hamstrings is one thing I know a lot about because I used to, it's quite a while back now, not as young as I look, I played for Stockport Town in the East Cheshire Sunday League. So nothing grand, nothing fantastic about it, but I was a bit of a speedster, and I had always had hamstring problems, and I had to monitor it constantly. So he felt something just over a week ago, and I've got a fair idea what that something is. It's like a little pinch, you know, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have played football in your times, and I'm sure many of you have had a hamstring injury. It's just that, like that beginnings of it, you can just feel it, that little pinch. Now my experience was, now I obviously didn't have the medical staff that Newcastle United have got with my Stockport Town East Cheshire Sunday League team, but there was only one cure, and that is rest. And when I had that pinch, it took more than a week or so for it to really feel comfortable and confident on it. And if sometimes I went back that bit too early, it was just a ticking time bomb before it actually went. Now, do I think Isak will start this game against Wolves? So it's a great fixture. We want you know, it really is a logical choice to go with Isak for that fixture. I do think he'll start. But it would also not surprise me, as happened to me many times when I went back to that a little bit too early and didn't give it the couple of weeks it needed, where it feels fine, you do the training, but training is so different to out on that football pitch and the intensity of it, and you put in that first sprint and you go, oh, hang on, there it is, and then you have to take yourself off. So it just feels a little bit risky to me. Now he could well go through that night and he could get a hat-trick. Of course he could. So, but there is risk, in my opinion. There is risk there, and let's say it's coming from my own sort of experience, and I just don't think I'll put it on him. As I say, he wasn't even on the bench for the FA Cup match. I don't think he was on the bench, was he? You know, and that's absolutely right to give him that whole rest. But you know, Howe's a little bit like Arteta. He doesn't always give full information. You know, as I say, oh yeah, he was feeling it. Just needs a week's rest. Just feels now. If he doesn't start, that's great. And if you have got the captaincy armband on Salah or Palmer, but if he does start and pulls up after 10 minutes, that's your captaincy gone. That is your captaincy gone. Now, we look at the other options and just see how they do stack up. So Salah is averaging 12 at the moment, obviously absolutely fantastic, but that average is largely made up, you know, as you can see there, of that 21 and that 16. Now, other than that, it's been single-digit hauls, a 5, a 9, and a 7, and it's not Forest away. Am I saying he couldn't get 2 or 3 returns against Nottingham? Of course he can. It's Salah. It is Salah. But Forest are well organised. They got that 1-0 win earlier in the season at Anfield. Do I think they're going to be able to set up in a really good defensive formation and hit Liverpool on the break? I've got a funny feel this game could easily end up 0-0. I do think Liverpool will probably nick it by 1 or 2 goals, but then that's only maybe 1, maximum sort of 2 returns for Liverpool, and they have gone off the boil. Let's make no bones about it. They have gone off the boil a little bit, Liverpool. Now they could easily spark into life again. They are an absolutely fabulous team. As a United fan, it pains me to say it, but United went there and we took points off them at Anfield, and we could have won it. And I think Forest are certainly defensively better than us, and probably a little bit better in attack, truth be told. Yeah. So the case for Salah, I think it's reasonably easy to make the case against him this week, if any week, and it's the easiest opportunity we're going to have to go against him if he is only having below 40% captaincy. It's the week to have a crack at him. It could backfire, of course it could. We look at Palmer. Okay, 2 blanks in the last 5, and his average of 6 is made up of a 10 and a 10. And Chelsea have not exactly been firing either. Now, I think Chelsea are going to return to form once they get back into this pattern they had before that busy Christmas period. Of playing one team in Europe and then another team in the Premier League. Now, it's not going to quite hit that yet because we've had FA Cup matches and we've just come out of the busy Christmas period, and now we're playing a midweek game. So again, because it's all a little bit disjointed at the moment, it wouldn't surprise me to see some unexpected benchings, etc. So, but the reality is, Chelsea have been inconsistent at best. I mean, in fact, they've actually been poor in front of goal, and defensively not so great either. But as far as Parma's concerned, could Parma fall in this game? Absolutely. We've seen it many times. But it's not happening at the moment. It's not happening for Chelsea, and is averaging a 6. And as I said, that is made up of just 2 returns, 2 10s in 5 game weeks. Okay, and Bournemouth are no mugs. I mean, there really aren't any mugs. I do think Chelsea will win this by a couple of goals, but that's what I expect it to be, like a 2-0 or a 2-1 or something like that. So then we've come to Isak, who has a fantastic average of 10, incredibly consistent. It's got his 11 and 17, but over the last 3 game weeks, Gordon's been matching him. In fact, Gordon over the last 3 game weeks has been matching him. For Isak, it's that 11 and 17 that's really boosting it to that 10. Now, is there anything wrong with an 8-7-7? Absolutely bloody not. I'll take it every day of the week. But Gordon's been matching him, and Gordon has Hall potential at St James's Park. So, if Isak does play the full game even, it's a fairly decent chance that Gordon's providing some of those bullets with an assist, and very likely against Wolves, who are shocking defensively at the moment. A really good potential to get a goal and an assist, which would be pretty much as good as a couple of goals from Isak. I just think it's worth a gamble. I just think this one's worth a gamble. I do expect Gordon's in really good form. He's really linking up well with Hall down that left as well. They're really complementing each other down that left. And as I say, if he's providing the bullets for Isak, fantastic. It means Gordon's going to get some decent points anyways. If Isak goes off, there's a fair chance that Gordon will move into that striker slot. So that's kind of my case. I mean, what would be the swing? As I say, if Isak got 3 goals, it's a fair chance that Gordon's got a couple of returns anyways. But supposing Gordon just matches or better as Isak, fine. But I just don't like that hamstring. I know the noise soundings around. Oh yeah, he just needs a rest and he'll be fine. Just hamstrings, mate. You just can't rely on them. You can feel fine, yet feel fine, but training is so different to going out on that pitch, and you go into the high energy bursting, out the blocks, fast start. It's just like, whoa, yeah. So those are my thoughts. What do you think? Are you going for a differential captain this week? Are you going with the always captain Salah? Are you going outside of you're going outside of the norm? I mean, there's a few options around. I guess Bruno Fernandes. If I had Bruno in my team, I'd be very tempted. He's actually been playing very well the last couple of games. Obviously got an assist against Liverpool. Got a beauty of a goal this morning from the Garnacho assist. It is the week to go against Salah if we're going to do it at all. What direction are you going? I'm 99% I'm going to put it on Gordon and take that punt. Is there risk involved? Of course there is. We're betting against Salah, and he can haul in any game. But I think Parma could well match him. At home last season, at home last year, Gordon was an absolute beast. Not so great away from home. Interesting to see him starting to score more consistently away from home this year. In this little run of form that he's hit at the moment. But he is home. I had him. I had him many times playing at St James's Park for me last year, and got very well rewarded. I think roughly from about game week 15-16, he went on a beautiful run. I was getting 9, 10s, 11s, 12s. Bugger all away from home, but yeah, always played him when it was at St James's Park. So pretty sure that's my decision. I think there's a whole potential there, and if it goes for me, fantastic. If it goes against me, then we'll have a bunch of interesting puns from my game week 21 review video. Gordon stanks, and hey, but if he goes big, it could be Gordon thanks. Anyway, hey, that's for your old timers. That's Gordon Banks, the goalkeeper. Any of you younger generation, amazing save, 1970 World Cup against Pele. And they still lost the game. That's it on that. Last but absolutely not least, I wanted to do a little video today just to say thank you. Overnight hit the 100 subscribers. I know that is just but a morsel in the grand scheme of things compared to a lot of the other pundits out there. But I've only been going a few months, and as I say, I was talking to myself just a few short months ago. So anyone that has subscribed, I just want to say thank you very, very much. I'm really enjoying the engagement, really enjoying the chats, loving the little community that we're starting to build, and seeing some of you guys actually helping each other out as well. It's lovely to see. Will be, as I've obviously feel a certain amount of responsibility now. I need to improve things. So the new computer is getting set up. That will sort out a few little techie issues I had to hopefully make things a little bit smoother. I've got my studio mic. Once that's set up, hopefully that will improve the audio quality, which I know has been a little bit erratic at times. I will be sorting out some of these tech problems. Should enable me to start doing the live stream game week watch-alongs, which I'd like to reintroduce fairly soon, because that could be a bit of fun if we're sort of all on there watching our scores and sharing our pain and our joy together. And also we'll be doing a little bit of filming in the next week or so, just to do a little little quirky, little funny intro video. I've got a few friends over here that do sort of filming and stuff, so they're going to help me put that together. So hopefully that'll be a bit of fun as well. That is kind of it. So once again, guys, thanks. 100, not out. And yeah, growing steadily week on week. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Have fun. Play your own game. Don't panic. And fingers crossed, whatever way you go on your captaincy, you're all big. Take care. Bye-bye.